And all right, so this is sponsored by Exodus Logistics Learning Center. It's a Dispatcher 101 consultation with Monique E. And we are going over some one-on-one training. You have a carrier, right? And they are a dry van carrier. They have endorsements, but I didn't know if you knew anything about the endorsements and how to find loads for those endorsements. So in the meantime, do you want to try to find some basic dry van loads to get the truck moving until you educate yourself a little bit more on how to handle the endorsement side, and then work?
Yeah, I just want to do some basic dry van loads because I'm purchasing a trailer because I'll need a different type of equipment for the hazmat and the tanker, correct?
Yeah, he would have to have a tanker trailer, unless he has a company that he's going to get a load from, and he uses his truck and attached to their trailer. So, but with hazmat, he can use his dry van to haul hazmat freight.
Okay, well, anything we can use the dry van for is fine.
Okay, so with you, so let me go to a load board real quick. You see my screen, right?
Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to switch over from my phone to my iPad because I wear glasses, but that's not working. All right, I can see your screen. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to a load board. And you said he was in Atlanta.
Yeah, he'll be leaving out of Lithonia, Georgia. So yes, pretty much Atlanta.
Okay, so it's within a certain. Okay. And did you get all your Did you get the email about the training once you enrolled in the training? I sent an email welcoming you and telling you the next steps, how to set up your back office login and all that stuff.
I got the email. I just hadn't had time. Like I said, I'm a teacher, and my class literally ended at 11:25, so I haven't had a chance to go on and
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I did join the Facebook group though.
Yeah, I saw that. So I'm on one of the load boards that's in the back office that you will eventually have access to once you set your email and password up to access the back office. This is called 123 load board. And what I'm doing now is, since you said your driver is in Atlanta, so I'm going to put the origin location as Atlanta, Georgia. The destination I'm going to leave anywhere, because he can go anywhere. He wants to drive anywhere, or.
He said Midwest. I told him Southeastern region, but he said Midwest. He's willing to go as far as Texas. So
okay, so what?
The key is he wants to be home on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Okay,
so send him out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and work his way back Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so he'll be back on the weekend. So that's something that you would have, as a dispatcher, you would have to plan that out for your driver. So on 123 load board, the destination, we could put anywhere, we could put states, or we could put a specific city. Since he gave you that information, now have you done a dispatcher agreement with this person, or he wants to see what you can find for him first?
He wants to see what I can find. He's my driver, so I gotta impress him with the numbers.
Okay.
For him to work with, because I think this is the last thing. He likes the truck. He likes everything that I have to offer. So he just wants some numbers. So
what are his numbers? What is he looking for per mile? Like $2.50 a mile, $2 a mile?
No, I'm paying him a percentage of the
loads.
So he's gonna get 25% of the load.
So this is your truck?
Yeah, this is my truck. That's what I was telling you.
Yeah.
That he's the driver that I want to hire. And the last piece to him accepting my offer is what the numbers are going to look like on the weekend when he comes home.
Okay.
Being off on the weekend.
So then what you would do then is offer him, what is he expecting to get a week? Like $2,000, $1,300, $1,500 a week?
Let's try to shoot for $2,000, but I would like the minimum to be $1,500, because I know every week he's not going to be able to bring $2,000 home, but definitely a minimum of $1,500. But we can shoot for the higher end first.
So that means if you want to do minimum $15,000, that means your truck, and that's so $1,500 is 25% of $6,000. So that means that your truck has to gross $6,000 or net $6,000 a week for you to bring home that for that driver 25% of the because it's not 25% of the gross, it's 25% of the net that you're offering the driver.
Well, I did say gross, but I might have to go in and readjust that. So that's why I need to look at these numbers and see, because I know what my fuel costs are. I know what well, I can calculate the fuel costs.
Right.
I know what his part is gonna be. So
right. So let's say $8,000. Let's say you gross $8,000. So I got a calculator up. So 25% of that is $2,000. So if you gross $8,000, that means you're gonna gross. Then he's gonna get 2,000 gross. So that's gonna be. So you're gonna minus $2,000 from the $8,000 that you gross to pay your driver. So now you got left $6,000 gross. So now you got to take out your fuel cost for the week, whatever that number is, from the 6,000 and not the 8,000. So if you start off grossing $8,000 and you give your driver $2,000 off that gross, then your gross is $6,000. So now you got to say, well, how much do I want to net? Do I want to net 4,000 a week, 5,000 a week with this truck? You know, so only you know what your numbers are. So
I wanted to try to net about no lower than 4,000 after all of the expenses are taken out. But
well, okay, so the two biggest line item expenses I'm seeing, of course, is paying your driver and your fuel, because you know, weekly, because the maintenance is going to come every so often, you know, insurance and all that stuff, that's monthly. But as far as the weekly stuff, you got to pay your driver every week. Otherwise, the truck is not rolling. And you got to provide fuel every week. Otherwise, the truck is not rolling. So those are the two biggest line item expenses. So after those two expenses, the two between $1,500 and $2,000 a week for the driver, and then whatever your fuel costs for the week are, and that depends on where you're going, you know, where you're going and the cost for the fuel in each of those states, because it's different for each state. You know, fuel cost is not, but you can get an average number for diesel, you know, anywhere between $2.50 and $3 a mile for diesel. So if you calculate, let's say you calculate the worst case scenario for diesel, and let's say you travel 2,500 miles in a week, right?
Well, he said he could get me, I think, 735 miles a day in 11 hours.
Okay, so he said 730 miles a day in 5 days time 11 hours. So that means okay, so he's traveling. Yeah, so 730 miles a day times 5 days that's 3,650 a week. So that's possible. So let's say he does that. Let's say 3,500 miles, right? Because 730 miles in 11 hours, I don't think that's possible. If you're traveling, if the truck is calibrated, I don't know what your truck is calibrated for its max, or if it is calibrated like for 65 or 70 miles an hour. So if you do 70 miles an hour, like on certain interstates like I-10, I-75, those big ones that go 70 miles an hour times 11 hours, that's 770 miles. So that sounds about right. He probably can do that. So let's say 3,500 miles.
He gave me this info too, and I wrote it down. But
yeah, 3,500 miles a week, and then you're paying so much per mile, cents per mile. I mean, so much per gallon. So you're going to take 3,500 miles and divide that by the miles per gallon you can get for your truck. You probably can get 6 to 7 miles to the gallon. So let's say 6 divided by 6. So you're going to need 583. You're going to need 583 gallons of gas or fuel to run 3,500 miles. So now you take the 583 gallons and multiply that by, let's say, $3 a gallon. Let's do worst case scenario. So you're gonna need $1,750 in fuel each week to cover 3,500 miles. So now you know what to deduct from your gross for fuel. I'm just throwing a number out there, $1,750. So you grossed 8,000 a week. You minus 2,000 for the driver max. You said between, let's do worst case scenario. You minus 2,000 a week for the driver between 15 and 2. And
I'm sorry, can you slow down a little bit? You said $8,000 a week gross. You said $1,750 for gas.
Yeah, $1,750 for fuel. So I'm doing it like this. So if the driver is saying that, let's say the driver says he can get you 3,500 miles in a week. So 3,500 miles in a week. If you take 3,500 and divide it by 5, that's 700 miles a day. He said he can give you 730. I'm going to say 700, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so 3,500 miles a week. You're going to divide that number, 3,500 miles total a week, divided by the miles per gallon you get for your truck. You should get between 6 and 7 miles to the gallon. I'm going to say 6. Right?
Oh, yeah, I know how you got the number. I was just writing it down for this specific scenario. Yeah, I know how to calculate how to get the gas price.
Okay, so we came up with $1,750 for the week, $1,750 for a week's worth of driving. You deduct that from the 8,000. You deduct the 2,000 for your driver max from the 8,000. So we get, let's see, 6,000 minus 1,750. So you're going to get 4,250 that you're going to net. So you want to bring home 4,250 a week with your truck, net. So now the question becomes, now in 5 days, can I find loads for a 5-day work week that's going to gross me $8,000? That's my bare minimum. I have to gross $8,000 in loads in order to cover these 2 major line item expenses. You got other expenses, but they come monthly. So,
right.
so now let's go to the load board here. So Atlanta, Georgia for a dry van. And he said the states he wants to go to, like it's Tennessee and the Midwest states like Michigan, Ohio, Indiana. Can you see what I'm doing on the screen?
Yep, I'm looking at that. Can I log in? This is you said this is the free one, right?
No, this is a login one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you have access to it because you are a member of the platform. You just enrolled, so.
Okay. Is it possible I can log in and just kind of go along with you to do this?
Yeah. Once you set up your you want to just use my login now?
Well, if yours is different, I'll just wait and get the one that you have for the students.
Okay.
Or if you can give me the student login, or it's different for each person.
No, it's the same login. I'm going to check it out now on the load board login, because you're gonna see the exact same thing here in the load board login. I think it's let me see. Try this one here. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Okay.
Let's see. Exodus dispatch. Exodus logistics. Okay, that should be the username right there for the, and that should be the password. But let me log out of this and log back in so I can see the username real quick, and then make sure the password is what it is. So.
Okay.
So you presented to him that he could make between $1,500 and $2,000 a week?
No, I never gave him a number, but I know I wanted to at least try to do no lower than what is it, 1,500
a week.
If possible. So
and that's good for a company driver, because he's running. Now he's a company driver. He's not an owner operator just leasing under your authority. He's actually a company driver working for you.
Yeah, he'll be working for me.
Right. So that's, yeah, that I would, okay, then I would meet him halfway. I would say, let's see, between 15 and 2000, let's say 1750. You know,
Okay.
yeah, that's a good halfway number. If he's making 17, so if he's making 1750 a week and he's home every week, that means he's making 1750 a week times 4 weeks. That's 7,000 a month times 12 months. That's 80 something thousand a year. As a company driver, that's not bad. Wait a minute, I'm about to jump in your truck.
And that's what I'm just gonna present it to him because I don't want to go out on the hot end and put that pressure on myself, but I want to be able to present it and say, okay, look, if you hustle and get X amount of miles a week, then you at 2,000. But on the worst case, well, not the worst case scenario, but on the lower end, if you drive this much, you bring home 1,500. So I think that's actually reasonable.
Right.
For him.
Right. So now, are you logged in?
I was having issues saying it in the chat. Oh, buddy. Zoom.
So if you go up to the
Chat pulled up on my phone. Zoom. That's not it.
So are you looking at it on your computer or your phone?
I'm on my phone.
Oh, that's probably why. It's probably not as mobile friendly on the phone. So I tell you what, this is going to be recorded, so I can send it to you as well.
Okay.
So, but you still can see the screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Atlanta, Georgia. So we need to figure out if he can find loads that's going to gross, and for a drive-in that's going to gross 8,000 a week, and he wants to go to the Midwest states: Ohio, Wisconsin, Illinois. He said Kentucky, even Tennessee. Let's keep him. Let's see, he's in Atlanta.
Texas. He said Texas too.
Okay, over to Texas and back. So these
anything over that way. I say from right Texas and above, all the way back to the east. So everything over there.
Yep.
He said he didn't like mountains, so.
Okay, so we're going to keep him out of Virginia and no West Virginia because the Appalachians are right here, and then keep him east of the Rockies, so nothing east of the Rocky Mountains, and then the Appalachian Mountains are right here. So that's good right there for a van. I'm gonna leave the pickup date and everything else blank and just see what we have here. What's the zip code in Atlanta?
338.
Oh, let's just select the state of Georgia, pick it up in the state of Georgia somewhere. Okay, so now we got 605 loads, like page 1 of page 7. So the first thing I do in 1, 2, 3 to see the rates that are posted, because these are blank, so I'm going to click the offer button to bring up the numbers up. So you see 1,800 and things like that. So your dry van trailer, it can hold about 45,000 pounds. I'm sure you don't want to haul that much. The less you haul, the less fuel you'll be burning and the less fuel you have to pay for, right? So, but these are some of the loads going to different areas. So, I don't know how far Pendergrass is from Atlanta, but these are the rates here. So you could take a load like going from Pendergrass, Georgia to San Antonio and then back 1,000 and something miles. Now that's not a good paying load though, because it's less than $2 a mile, $1.72. So you want to look for things over $2 a mile, and you want to look for rates that's going to add up over a 5-day period to that $8,000 marker, right? So here's one, Port Wentworth, Georgia, going over to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. 625 miles at $1,500. So that's over $2 a mile. That's $2.40 a mile. That's decent. And he can do that in one day. He probably can do back and forth 5 days a week. 5 times 1,500, that's 7,500. So that's close to the 8,000 mark. So we're getting there.
Which one were you looking at?
I was looking at, I got it open right now if you're on my screen.
Okay, I was at the top. I was towards the top. Okay.
Port Wentworth, Georgia, down to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. For a van, it's
okay, I see it.
Yeah. So it even gives you the numbers right there. 1,500 going 625 miles. You would have to call the broker to get other details because it doesn't list the weight and see if there's any backhaul coming back. We have a backhauls tab. You can do that going back. So 15, you do that 5 days a week. So you go out, let's see, times 5, that's 7,500. So you would have to find something small to come back to grab another load. So you would start off early. Let's say you start off on a Monday morning, pick that load up, go over to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. You get there in the afternoon time, 600 something miles, shouldn't take too long. That's about a half a day to about 12 hours, maybe 9 hours. You get there and you may pick up another load and then bring that load back to the area where you got the Wentworth, Georgia pickup and start the next day the same thing. So,
okay.
But that's a start there. That's $2.40 a mile. Did he share with you his cents per mile that he's a company driver, so it really don't matter. He's not an owner operator. As long as he makes what he makes, he's good. Here's one with Lithia Springs, Georgia, going to Brookhaven, Mississippi. That's 400. He probably can do 2.
You have a mask? You have your mask? Yes. Yes, sir. You need it. I'm sorry about that. Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. And you said that one was coming from Lithia Springs because Lithia Springs is not too far from where I live.
Right. So, and
because some of those other ones are pretty far out. So those are, what do you call those? Dead miles?
Yeah, deadhead. So this one is Lithia Springs, Georgia to Brookhaven, Mississippi. It's 418 miles. He probably can do 2 of them a day. It's paying $12.50. So 2 of those would be what? $2,500 a day.
Oh wow.
Right. So right. So $2,500 a day times 5 days. You just cleared $12.50, $12,500 for the week. You grossed. So you would have to see about like backhaul and stuff like that. So let's say you.
How you doing? All right. And you know how to use the tool? Sure. Just take pictures and verify the condition of the car. Take pictures of the gas tank and the mileage just to verify this is 400 with the trip. Okay. In the cost. Okay. All right. Now, if I want to extend it, just extend it in the app and make sure you do it before the trip ends. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Enjoy. All right. All right. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So what I'm doing now, the Lithia Springs, Georgia one to Brookhaven, Mississippi, I'm looking at backhaul, seeing if there's any good loads coming back to Lithia Springs, Georgia from Brookhaven, Mississippi. So let's see, let's erase that. So yeah, backhauls from Brookhaven, Mississippi back to we got 46 going back from Brookhaven, Mississippi. So I'm looking at backhauls now to see if we can get a load coming right back to that same area. And to get us some good paying loads going back. So we got one from Canton, Mississippi to Jackson, Georgia. That's not too bad. So we want to pick up something to pay for fuel on the way back, so we can get that good paying load going out again, that 1250 load, because that load was $2.99 a mile, which is not bad. So that's the whole idea. You just got to be able to show him and let him know that there are loads out here for a dry van going to the areas that he wants to go, and to let him know, like, if you haul these loads, and so your proposal to him might be, if we can gross at least $8,000 a week in this truck for 5 days a week, then I'm able to pay you anywhere between $1,500 to $2,000, maybe even like $1,750, but $1,500 to $2,000. And the lower, the better, right?
Right.
So that'll be, so yeah, just let him know finding the loads is not the problem. It's whether he wants to run those loads to make, well, it's whether he agrees to the amount that he's going to be paid weekly based off of him running the load. So the agreement that I would set up between you and him is if you gross $8,000 a week, I can guarantee at least $1,750 in your pocket. Because now you know your numbers. If you gross, so I took away $2,000. I gave you back an extra $250 out the $2,000 and said, okay, I can give you $1,750 a week, which will make you $84,000 a year as a company driver. That's not bad.
Right.
And if he grosses $8,000 a week for you, then you'll bring home at least 42 to 50 to 4,500 a week net for yourself, because we've already covered the driver and the fuel for those runs, for that 3,500 mile run. Irregardless of where it's going, it's still under 3,500 miles. So the presentation to him would be, get me 8,000, gross me 8,000 a week. I can guarantee you 1,750.
Okay.
And then how that's done, that can easily be figured out depending on where he's going, the loads and things like that. And I'm sure he'll think about that and probably come back and sign that dispatcher agreement. And then what's even better, once you get to a point where you deal with brokers over and over again, and they see that your driver is running pretty well, they're going to approach you, the trucking company owner, and say, we need this truck. We have a dedicated lane for you. Can you run this in a dedicated lane? Now you don't have to worry about finding loads. If that dedicated lane can gross you your target amount, that $8,000 a week, then yeah. And probably you might want to try to get on with Amazon and just use, because I got a buddy that's running with Amazon. He parks his trailer. He don't even use his trailer. They use the Amazon trailer. He's a power only. He used the Amazon trailer. He parked his trailer. And 1 week he made 7,000, 1 week he made 11,000. So he's averaging about $9,000 a week with Amazon. So
and that's dedicated lanes.
It's not dedicated lanes starting out. Amazon tests you to see how you run, and then after, let's say, 90 days to 6 months, then they may approach you like they did him with dedicated lanes, because they see you running the same thing all the time. It's on time. There's no damaged freight. There's no complaints or claims, stuff like that. So with every new shipper and broker, you have to start off proving yourself that you know what you're doing before. They're just not going to give you a dedicated lane without you showing them, or your driver showing them, that you guys know what you're doing. So, and that's how it should be, right? If you were, put yourself in their shoes, if you were the company, you do the same thing, right? So let's see, here's another one, 394 miles. This is $3 a mile. It's paying $1,200. It's going from Grovetown, Georgia to Franklin, Tennessee. So it's 394 miles at $1,200. That's $3.05 a mile. It has 3 stops, one in the 38502 zip code, and then another one in McMinnville, Tennessee. So with those extra stops, you probably would negotiate with this broker an extra $200 to $300 per stop. So that $1,200 could turn into $1,500, which is even better. But you're still going 394. So you can do that twice a day at $1,500. So that's $3,000 a day. So now if you do,
most drivers don't like that multiple stops, do they?
Well, they like it if they are getting paid for like detention and layover and things like that. So plus when you say most drivers, you're probably referring to most owner ops probably, but if you're a company driver and I'm giving you a set rate per week, as long as you're getting paid, it doesn't matter where you're stopping.
Yeah.
I'm giving, yeah. So you have to dictate that because they are a company driver. They're your employee. So I really don't, as an employer, I'll be like, well, I'm not really concerned about, the number of stops. As long as I give you your weekly settlement, I may say, okay, I won't exceed 3 stops because I know you don't want to be out too long, but you still are, does your truck have a sleeper on it?
It does.
Okay, so then he can go to a truck stop and do his reset. And then, so, he's not going to a hotel. There's no extra expense there. So he's a driver. So he understands that. That's the nature of the business if you want to make the money, right? So as long, again, as long as I give you your weekly settlement, whatever we agreed upon, and you're not even running that much, 394, that's less than 400 miles. You can do that, half a day, and then come and then get a backhaul that pays a little bit, maybe pays $300 or $400 backhaul. So you add that into the rate, and then go out again on that another load again. So 1,500, and then 2 backhauls going back. So let's say $2,000 in that day. 5 days. That's 10 grand. So you know what your gross minimum is. You have an idea of what you want to pay the driver and still bring home your money, between 1,500 and 2 grand. You know your miles because your mile cost because your driver said it could do at least, if you figure you average 700 a day and 700 a day and then which is 3,500 a week, which is about 1,750. And that 1,750 for fuel, that's assuming that we use $3 a gallon for diesel. Of course, it's going to be less. It might be $2.65. It might be $2.80. But you always want to use worst case scenario to give yourself those high numbers. And if you save, then you just save. That's cool. So those are the things that you probably want to run by the gentleman. If you get me 3,500 miles a week, I can get you at least 1,750.
3,500 a week.
Yep. He says he can do 730. That's what he said. So that's more than 35. That's 3,650. So he's either cooking the books, or he knows something about the ELDs that can keep him out a little bit longer.
Yeah, because I thought somebody told me the most they could drive in a day was like 635 miles or something like that.
Right, because you figure, and the reason why it's like that, you factor in drivers can drive, they got to do a 10-hour reset. There's 24 hours in the day. You got to do a 10-hour reset. So you get 14 hours to drive, 11 of which you can drive straight. So the other 3, you're probably at loading docks, getting, going in and getting paperwork and 3 things like that. So 11 hours straight you can drive. So assuming that you drive 11 hours at, let's say, 65 miles an hour. Let's do an average, not 70, but 65. So that's 715 miles. So if he's saying that he can do 730, let's say 11 hours at 70 miles an hour. So if he's driving 11 straight, which I doubt, he can drive between 715 and 770 miles in a day. At least he has the hours to do that. Now he may stop for breaks. So that's where that extra 3 hours come into 14 hours total, but 11 straight. And those 3 hours is allotted for, making stops for fuel, stopping at the, getting docked and everything to get loaded and offloaded and stuff like that. But when you get loaded and offloaded and you pull into a loading dock, you're not using your drive time hours. You either well, I don't want to say off duty. You're on duty, but not driving, right? So it doesn't count against your drive time. So that's how the ELDs work. That's how we used to do it when we were using the paper logs. You would be on duty, but not driving. You would be off duty. You would be in a sleeper berth, however you did it. So when they checked your books, they would see all these red lines or these color-coded lines, and the DOT officer would know, what you did. Now, electronically, they should still know, but some people are trying to work around that. So be careful with your drivers though. Make sure that they do their ELDs properly.
Okay.
Because that's one of the main things that can get trucking companies in trouble if they have either owner operators who drive their own trucks or company drivers who do not do the ELDs correctly. So when they pull into a weigh station and the DOT officer checks the truck and do a level 1 or level 3 inspection, and they say, let's see your ELDs, they see these red flags, they can potentially put that truck out of service. So
yeah. ELD stands for electronic log, and what's the D for?
Yeah, electronic logging device.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
They are in. Have you got yours installed in your truck?
No, but I'm gonna get Samsar.
Samsar. Okay. Yeah, Samsar. There's one called Keep Trucking.
Well, let me try them all though, because it won't hurt.
Yeah, I hear a lot of stories about Keep Trucking, but I haven't heard about Samsar. You said SAMSAR?
SARA.
Oh, Samsar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cameras where you can see the driver. It'll alert you, like if they're on their phone. It'll alert you if they're braking too hard. It'll alert you if they're speeding. Then it has a camera on the road also.
Okay, so that offers more features than, I guess that offers more features than any of the other ones. That's why you decided to go with that one.
Yeah, well, I hadn't even checked anymore because I was just so impressed by that. So I still do need to kind of shop around just to see what other people are offering.
Okay. Okay. All right. So yeah, let him know. So you let him know 3,500 miles a week. That way you keep him at 700 miles. He's going to say, okay, well, that's easy. And I can still guarantee you between 1,750 or between 1,500 and 2,000. Minimum 1,500, max 2,000. And then if he wants to negotiate that, then he say, well, I can meet you in the middle at 1,750, and I'm firm on that. That's the most you want to give up, right? Because at least starting out. So now if you got this driver for a year or two and he's proven himself busting his tail, then of course you want to consider, because he's grossing you $9 grand, 10 grand a week. Then of course you want to reward him for that, right? So, but right, starting out, let's see what he can do. Let's see him perform, right? Because right now all he's doing now is talking, right? So you haven't seen him perform. He hasn't driven 1 mile in your truck. So you want to start, just like with any employer, they start you off with, the small amount per hour, and then you earn your raises. It's the same concept.
Right.
So.
Right. Okay. So let me ask you this, because what I want to do is I want to get on Zoom just like we're doing now and walk him through the board. So I need to do like a Monday through Friday. So is there a way to log on the board by date? So I think Monday's date is like the 11th or 12th or something. I could be off my dates off.
Yeah, you can create yourself a Zoom account and then a private Zoom account and then have him do it. Now, is there a reason why you want to walk him through the board, or?
Well, he just said show him some numbers, so I guess I really don't need to do that. But I just wanted to show him like each day, like live numbers. Right.
So what it is, what you would do is don't give him specific, give him high end numbers. Like all you have to do, sir, is if you gross this company 8,000 a week starting out, 8,000 a week by doing 3,500 miles, then I can give you between 1,500 and $2 grand to you. And then you explain.
I'm sorry, 1,800 a week?
Yeah, between 1,500 to 2,000 a week to the driver.
For how many miles?
For 3,500 miles a week. So that's 700 miles a day time, because you say he wants to be off on the weekend, so he's working 5 days a week.
Yeah.
So 700 miles at 5 days a week is 3,500. So if he can do that, and of course it's going to be more because he's going out 700. He has to come back, or unless you find him something where he's at, bringing him to another location, within, under 7. So if he grosses 3,500 and if he grosses 8,000 doing 3,500 miles. So you have to make sure that the 3,500 miles pay the 8,000 a week at least starting out. So 8,000 divided by the 3,500, that's a little over $2. So you're gonna have to find loads that's gonna pay. So every load that you're gonna find for him has to be at least $2.29 a mile, at least. So that's your barometer. Because if you want to make $8,000 a week minimum, so you're gonna take $8,000 divided by the total miles per week you want to go, 3,500. That means for every load, $2.28.5 or $2.29 a mile. So every time you look for a load for him, it has to at least be $2.29 a mile. That's your barometer that you're going to be using.
Okay, so that 229 is going to get him his $17.50 a week, and how much is that going to gross me?
That 229 a mile is going to get you 8,000 a week gross. Now, what you pay him in that range between 1,500 to 2,000, that's your decision. Okay. So let's say you got every load during the week $2.29. It grossed 8,000, and let's say the fuel, we used the worst case scenario with the fuel. We said it was $3 a mile, so that cost for 3,500 miles $1,750. So you're going to minus $1,750 from the 8,000. That's going to leave $6,250 left. So now you have to decide how. That's gross. Now you have to decide how much you want to give the carrier. Or do you want to give them $1,500, $1,750, $2,000 of that? So starting out, I would give him the benefit of the doubt that he's a good carrier, but I would still meet him halfway. Let's say I give him $1,750. So I'm going to minus $1,750. So out of the $6,250, $1,750, you're left with $4,500 net every week.
Okay.
Times 4 weeks in a month, that's $18,000. Times 12 months in a year, that's $216,000 a year in that truck if you maintain that.
And that's 216 net.
That's net, right?
Okay.
You think you can live off of $216,000?
I think I can manage. I think barely, but I think I can.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you this: with the DAT board, would I be able to find better rates, or pretty much it's going to be the same across all the boards?
Well, yeah, because across all the boards, you're going to see a lot of commonalities in the loads because they are spot market loads. Now, where you start to find the better paying loads is where you start building relationships with the brokers and the direct shippers. Then they're going to open up their internal loads to you because you've proven yourself with the spot market loads to move that freight on those load boards. Now they're going to say, okay, we want to give you some dedicated loads or some of our private loads because you've proven yourself. Now, so you got to go through that transition of using load boards with the spot market loads, and then you'll graduate with those brokers in their internal loads. They'll start giving you those, getting your feet wet with that. But this 216 net a year, these are spot market loads. So,
Okay. It was something else I was going to ask about the boards. And then you said you could call and negotiate. So how will I know which ones I can call and negotiate?
Any load that you find that's a decent load but does not meet your $2.29 per mile minimum rate that you have to have for each load, then you would call that broker and try to negotiate it to $2.29. So let's say, for example, you had a load that you saw a load, it was a good load, like this one, for example, this Pooler, Georgia to Shreveport, Louisiana, right? 30,000 pounds, which is light, 836 miles, but it's only paying $1,300, right? So that's $1.56. But you want $2.29 a mile. So what you do is to negotiate the rate with the broker to give them a new number. You take $2.29, and this is what you always do. You take the what you want per mile, in this case $2.29, and you multiply that by the number of miles that load is going. 836 miles So now it's $1,915. So instead of 13, you want to ask for like 2,000 because that's going to put you above 229. And that's how you negotiate.
Okay. And then I remember what my other question was. I know they say something about like when your authority's not at least 90 days old, would that affect me booking these higher loads, or it doesn't matter?
There are brokers that work with carriers whose active authority is 6 months or a year or less. We have those listed in the back office here under our load boards area. I think it's under load boards. No, it's not. It's under forms and documents. I'm sorry. Let's go to forms and documents. So under forms and documents, we have brokers who work with new carriers. So you click that. I'm not going to click it now because we're on the recording. I don't want people who may not be members to see it. So,
okay.
But that's the area right there. So when you finally go through your back office setup and log in, and when you get a chance and you enter your, you're going to hit sign. You're going to hit sign up. You're going to enter an email and a password. You're going to hit submit. It's going to send a code to me in the back office to approve you. Once I approve you, then you use that same email and password to log in once, and you'll have access to everything else from orientation all the way down. All you have to do is log in once after you are approved. So.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So for me to get this, this is my last question. For me to get familiar with like going on and finding loads, which video should I go to and watch first? Because I'm going to go through step by step and start from the beginning, but just for me to play with this, so when I am talking to him on either tomorrow or Sunday, I can say, okay, I can comfortably go through it without stumbling or stuttering.
Well, I'm gonna email you this video once I get it recorded, but in just about every video that I train on, even on the YouTube channel, it has me logging into a load board and going over how to navigate that load board. But I'm going to send you this specific recording to your email, so you'll have it for yourself to review and to go over load board logins and load board training, navigation. But there are some even in our back office, we have, once you get approved for the back office and you go through that process, we have training videos, and they're in order, starting with the month of November, because that's when a couple of years ago, that's when I started this online portal. So they're grouped in months, and then they're grouped by the titles of the videos. So for example, the month of November has several videos in it, and they're dated.
Okay.
And you just click the arrow back and forth to them, different videos you see. And in the month of December, the same thing, the different videos by the date, if you notice the dates and stuff. The art of dispatching, the niche, and the strategy. So I have over 110 videos. I think it is 120 videos, either in the back office and then some on YouTube, the YouTube channel. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the back office is the place for the members to have tools and resources to use for your to make your business a better business. And I'm adding to and taking away from things. Just like I just added today, this company right here is a free company. It's called National Truck and Trailer Service. They are a national free database. If your truck breaks down anywhere in the country, you click this, you come in here, click this, and you enter, it goes to the website of that location, and you enter where your truck and trailer is located at. Say you broke down in Georgia, so you click Georgia, start the search, and then you click the city, like Atlanta. Let's scroll down and see that Atlanta shows up right there, Atlanta. And, that's where you are, and then category, you just select where you're broken down, truck repair, tires and sales repair. So you look up stuff, what's going on. You're looking for a truck wash in Atlanta, you click that, it'll give you the results of it. It's a national database. If you need tires, if you need tow, they provide a national database for free, but they get paid off of the companies that they post on that database to sponsor them. The companies pay them because they're bringing the company's business. They're just a middleman to provide that service.
Okay.
You see? So you can go in there and do just about anything in that.
Okay. That's awesome. So how do the dispatchers get to the driver their route? Do they just text, okay, this is where you'll be going tomorrow, or is it some official paperwork or documentation?
Well, starting out, yes, they'll send them the rate confirmation of every time they get a load for them. They want to send it to the driver because the driver needs to see where they're picking up that load for. So if you go to tools and resources under forms and documents, you'll see, I'm gonna give you an example of what a rate confirmation looks like. And every time you book a load, the rate confirmation has the load details, like where is it picking up from the shipper, where is it delivering to, the load, the pickup date and time, the delivery dates and times, and then the load number and all that stuff, the pallet counts, the commodity or the freight that's being hauled, you know, and any extra stops, and then what the load is paying. Now, you may want to redact the load amount that's being paid. In other words, scratch it out, don't show the driver, because he don't really need to know that, because as long as he knows he's getting so much per week, seeing what each load is paying is irrelevant. So what you might want to do is the rate confirmation, just send him a screenshot of what he needs to see, just the where it's picking up and where it's going. He doesn't need to see this part, what it's paying. So that, you know.
Well, then how will he know if he's getting his 25%?
Because you could be that transparent. The reason why I'm saying not to be, because you have some drivers who may try to go around you, get their own authority, and then go back to these companies and try to get the loads themselves. The reason why he knows he's getting the 25%, because I'm sure you guys are going to have a contract in place that says that, right? So you're going to have a contract as an employee of whatever the name of your trucking company is between you and that driver. You know, if you get 25% of that. So in other words, so if you do $8,000, so 25% of $8,000 is, what's that, 2,000. So that's a fourth of 8,000. So yeah, so if you get 25%, so it really don't matter what you tell him a rate. If he's getting 25% of the gross, then whatever he gross, he's going to get 25% of that. So the more he runs, the more he makes. So that could be an incentive for him, a motivation for him. So if he's bringing 7, so you don't even have to give him a number. You just say 25%. So the more you run, the more you make, the more you gross in that week, then you're going to get 25% of that. So 25% of 7,000 is 1,750. So you know, 25% of 9,000, you know, is, you know, about what, 2,500 or 2,300 or something like that. So let's see, 25% of 9,000, 2,250. And then 25% of 10,000 is 2,500. So if you bring home 10,000 a week, if you gross that driving the truck 5 days a week, he may have to do 6 days. He may have to renegotiate his days out. If he's trying to bring home 10 grand a week, if you're trying to get 2,500 a week, then he's eating. Now he's at 120,000 a year. As a company driver, that's excellent. I don't never see company drivers making that much.
Yeah.
So I would probably say, did you tell him 25% already?
I did.
Okay.
I interviewed like about 6 or 7 other people, and they, with the exception of him and one other lady, everybody else was horrible. So I was like, I've got a good quality person. So I think in the long run, I'll make more money with him, even though I'm paying him a little bit.
Right, because you want to, like there's a saying, I think the brother Alex Burton had it down there in Georgia with Good Energy Worldwide. You know, I'd rather.
That's who I'm with. I took his course.
You took Alex Burton's course, Dispatch Mastery. So you got the truck. He helped you get a truck and everything and all that stuff?
Yeah, I got the trucking portal. I didn't get his Dispatch Mastery. Because this is the thing about Alex, and his trucking portal, it's really good. But it's some things, and this is why I chose you over his trucking portal, because there's some things that are issues that arise where you need to pick up the phone and talk to somebody. And with them, it's always constant through email. It might take 48 hours for them to get back to you, but you can't pick up the first person and talk to them over the phone. So that's why I chose your portal, because just like you're talking to me now, in your consultations, they're a reasonable price. But Alex, some of his stuff is just a little bit overpriced. And like I said, you can't even pick up the phone and ask somebody a question. So
Yeah. Yeah, see, so I'm a small time person, so I'm still at the stage where I'm adding a lot of value to what I have because I'm small time, and I hope to be this same way even if I get as big as Alex. So I hope to maintain the same level of communication with everybody. I know I'm one person, I may have to do it in a conference call kind of thing, but it still will be me talking to you as opposed to an assistant or something like that. So.
And I'm not even saying it has to be Alex, but just someone there where you can pick up the phone and answer or ask a question. It could be an assistant, it could be a secretary, or well, not a secretary, but somebody who's knowledgeable. Because when you get that big, of course, I'm pretty sure Alex is he has thousands of people that have purchased the portal. So I know he can't talk to that many people, but at least have access to somebody, because this business is really expensive. So one small mistake can cost you a lot of money when you don't know. So.
Right. That's why it's good to do it, the right way the first time, like he says, and I rather pay you more by accident than short you on purpose.
Right. And you give a lot. Even I was thoroughly impressed with that free training that you did that Sunday with the amount of content that we got for free. So I'm like, man, if this guy is giving this much game for free, what would you get if you paid for it? And I'm sorry it took me so long, but I was in the middle of trying to get the truck and everything. But I was just like, man, I can't wait to see what other content I'm gonna get once I get the course. So
yeah. I'm trying to keep that level of expectation at that level where you are. Like, if I give this much away for free, imagine what you're going to get if you enroll. So, yeah.
Well, all right, Charles. Thank you so much, and I'm sorry, and thank you for working with me through my technical issues. So,
no,
I'm out of town this weekend, so I probably won't be on Sunday's call.
That's fine.
Or Saturdays, but I'm gonna hop right on. But I'll be playing in the port of my whole vacation and trying to get things figured out. So.
Yeah, so if you know anyone who is in the same place as you, or maybe wanting to know about dispatching, or may wants a more basic level training, send them my way. Let them know.
Okay.
I
definitely will. And what else do you offer besides the dispatching? You do dispatching in the freight brokering?
Yeah, I'm starting. I used to have freight broker. I'm starting it back up. It's on the website, the freight broker training. That's a little bit more extensive, but it's even more content than the dispatching because it's more requirements to be a freight broker than it does to be a dispatcher. So, now so you're going to dispatch your own truck. You're not having someone dispatch for you.
Yeah, I'm going to dispatch my own truck and dispatch for other people. So if I can grab me about 2 or 3 drivers when I'm booking my load, I'll book this. Because one thing I have learned with these drivers, a lot of them want to be home on the weekend. So if I'm booking that where my driver's off during the weekend, I'm pretty sure other people or drivers will want that, and I can book loads for them, because that seems like the common theme, like get me home on Friday.
Right. So do you have drivers that that want dispatchers booking loads for them, or you have an idea, or you have resources to look for those drivers? Because we have some too, but I'm just
You're looking for drivers, or you're looking for dispatchers?
I have dispatchers. I'm looking for drivers for those dispatchers to dispatch for.
Okay. This is my plan. As soon as I can get the truck up and running and get my driver on the road. Are you familiar with bandit signs?
Yeah, definitely. Just like with the housing market. Yeah.
Right. So a lot of my background comes from like the real estate stuff. So what I was going to do was go to every truck park every truck stop in Atlanta and put up bandit signs saying, well, maybe that's something you and I can talk about in the future, but something to attract drivers.
Yep.
Then, hook them up with a dispatcher, because I'm telling you, those bandit signs work like crazy.
Now,
they're really good.
So now when you get a bandit sign out, we just got to make sure that the dispatcher we give to them is someone who's trained up enough to know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I have to work with you, because I just only want to dispatch for maybe, because this is the type of lifestyle I want. I want to work maybe about 20 hours a week, but I want to enjoy my life, and I want to enjoy, I don't want to just be working and have all this money. So I'm just doing this to afford me a nice lifestyle. So at most, I'll probably want like 2 or 3 trucks to dispatch for. And then my goal is to ultimately maybe have about 2 or 3 trucks for myself. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, you have a family. I mean, you have a family, right? To share it.
Well, I have a 13-year-old son.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's about it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so I know I wouldn't need all those drivers, and it might even truck drivers dispatch for it. It might get to a point where I'm doing so well in the trucking, I don't even have to dispatch. But I just love the idea of the hustle. And if I can get drivers for you all and then kick them to you all, and you all pay me a referral fee, it's fine. But these truck stops up here are crazy busy. I asked the guy that worked there, like, how many truckers come in and out of this place a day? One place said like all over 1,000. So that's 1,000 drivers is seeing that sign every day. So
yep.
And then those yards where you park is quite a few close to where I live. So yeah, as soon as I can get everything settled, that could be something that we could work together on.
Okay.
That'll be good, a good move. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Charles, and I appreciate you, and I will definitely be in touch and get started on this course.
Yes, ma'am. All righty.
All right.